Oh, hello there. Yes, well, we're over Hump Day and we're into rest of week day, probably. Yes, indeed, Thursday. See what delights the day brings. Anyways, part of the delight yesterday was I decided to indulge myself to see what Oli London's been up to, for reasons I'll come on to at the end. But he was a bit miffed because Radio Genoa has been withdrawn from Twitter. Now, for those of you that don't know, Radio Genoa is actually a very, very odd Twitter account because it has a massive number of followers and posts an awful lot of incredibly nasty, fascistic, racist stuff. But it was exposed a while ago as being run by Ian Miles Chung, who's a Malaysian bloke. He just basically posts this stuff because it gets loads of hits, and Oli London gets most of his kind of nasty racist material from there. Astoundingly for Twitter, it's actually the account's been suspended. Think about what you'd need to do if you're posting up racist and fascistic stuff on Twitter to be suspended. Yeah, really quite incredible. Now, Oli over the last few days has been doing his usual stuff because now that he's found God and found his genitalia or something, he's decided to very much buy into the whole of the kind of Republican talking points. So there's an enormous amount about how evil students are, American ones in particular, on on his Twitter feed. But oh dear, he does also like to. Comment generically about how people look, especially when they look funny. This is Oli London for you. I mean, here we are about, having to go to students. Columbia students participating in a wacky Earth Day cult-like dance while covered in string. Yes, the students wore medical masks and Palestinian headscarves whilst covering themselves in red string. Yes, young people having fun. Something Oli doesn't really know anything about. And again, we'll come back to that particular point. He does also like to kind of buy into the notion of whatever Israel does, because he's a friend of Israel, got invited out there by the state. He also buys into this notion, Republican idea, that what the Ukraine is doing is wrong. Donald Trumpism for you there, for no reason whatsoever other than it gets him his media gigs. And then you can tell that this is somebody who has no concept whatsoever about what they're doing, because, for example, he posts up things like this. We get this right, okay, so we've got two juxtaposed photographs. Ooh, means it must be linked in some way. So, 1963, white supremacists block a black woman from entering the University of Alabama. Yes, indeed. 2024, Palestinian activists block a Jewish man from entering the University of Yale. Do you see that? We've got the word block twice there, yes. But of course, Oli, being a good friend of Israel, would know full well that what the woman was protesting was exactly the same thing that most protesters about Palestine are protesting, which is the denial of their human rights by an apartheid state. I guess that's what Oli meant. No, of course it isn't. Yes. Anyway, Oli is more than happy to bend things to suit his own particular needs. I mean, I was a while ago. I was struck by this particular one where he was talking to Andre Water on Talk TV, and here we go. Oli London, author, he's an author, explains how he had gender dysphoria as a teenager, but stopped transitioning before it was too late. Yes, indeed. You see, because according to his Wikipedia page, he had gender dysphoria initially in mid-2022 when he was, drumroll, 32, and then he decided to detransition in October 2022 when, drumroll, he was slightly more 32ish, and that was it. So let's think about that. So let's say mid is June. Let's be generous. May, June, July, August, September, October. Now, you can just about get, if you squeeze it, 6 months out of that. But bearing in mind that, when he was interviewed, it was probably, we have to shave about a month off that. So, he was a teenager when he was 32, according to his own Wikipedia page. I'm sure he was, because he's been everything else in his life, whatever he can do to get those clicks. A bit like Ian Miles Chung, really, isn't it? Yes, indeed. Now, why am I having a go at such a fish in a barrel target as Oli London? Well, I think Oli is indicative of that kind of right-wing media player who gets work simply because the people that run things like Newsmax, which he appears on a regular basis, have no concept about what ordinary people think, or indeed what anyone under 40 might be vaguely into. Because one of the things about a lot of this kind of new student activism and the whole thing about Palestine is the media has been totally incapable of demanding that ordinary people buy into their narrative, particularly anyone under the age of, let's say, 25, if I'm being reasonably generous with it, okay? Because they have no idea what's going on with them, and they haven't seen this stuff coming. It's blindingly obvious to those of us that work with younger people that this stuff has been coming down the road for a very long period of time, and now it's finally here. Now, Oli makes a living because these people can kid themselves in some way because they have no idea whatsoever that he has his finger on the pulse of young people, or indeed that he's in any in any way a kind of vaguely known or respectable figure. I've had students over the last few years, teenagers, mid-teenagers, 15 odd, and they're not fans, shall we say. Not fans. Know full well exactly the type of individual he is. But, there you are. Ollie's a good Christian boy now, and he wouldn't lie because that would be a sin. Certainly, wouldn't it? I mean, he wouldn't just be buying into a persona to try and sell rubbish that no one's buying. And the problem, of course, is that no one's buying, and therefore the powers that be will have to bring in laws to make sure that you do buy. That will be the thing. Okay? You have to accept what they want you to believe. That Israel is absolutely fine in anything they do. And the Ukraine, well, no, they don't have the right to self-determination or defence. No, not at all. Anyway, do have a lovely further into the week. Enjoy.